I won't tease me, talk about my shirt little, talking about I got my little brother shirt on and shit.
Hey, what's up? This your boy Big Man. You already know what it is, man. So let's get right to it. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about Kevin Gates. Now, Kevin Gates was on the Breakfast Club today, and he had a pretty short interview where he talked about how things have been going in his life recently. Now, Kevin Gates is one of those artists who's a bit eccentric. You know, he says a lot of wild things, and they tend to go viral. And some things that he said during the interview today were absolutely positive. But some of the things that he said were absolutely comical, and other things are going to be controversial. And we're going to talk about all of that. Now, for those of you who don't know, Kevin Gates is a rapper from Louisiana who pretty much is a staple in the hip-hop game as far as the South is concerned, or maybe just the hip-hop game in total, because dude racks up streams like it's nobody's business. But outside of his accolades in the music game, he's known to say some wild things, man. Like, he was recently on a podcast called Carisha Please on the Revolt Network, where he said some wild things there, and he got a lot of clicks and a lot of attention. And I think with this Breakfast Club interview, it's one and the same, man, because Kevin Gates was saying some wild stuff, to be real with you. Now, before we break all this down, do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and man, let's get it. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about Kevin Gates just a little bit and his Breakfast Club interview, man. Now, in the interview, he said some things that were interesting, and one of the first ones I want to talk about is his stance on alpha males. You know what I mean? His stance pretty much against alpha male content and stuff like that. And, with all the talk that he does about his bedroom prowess and things like that, he says that he tries to keep it balanced as far as the divine feminine and the divine masculine. That was his explanation. It was kind of assisted by Charlemagne. But some will be puzzled by how he's against the whole alpha male podcast and that whole, genre of things. A lot of that stuff is interesting to listen to. A lot of that stuff is very informative. But obviously, you're going to have your detractors on each side. And it was interesting to hear that Kevin Gates wasn't with that. It was a little bit surprising, to be honest with you. But, he's a different type of dude. Now, obviously, Kevin Gates opened up in the interview about some dark things that happened to him in his past and some issues he was having with his family, both in the past and recently, man. So it seems like Kevin Gates tries to have a broad opinion, about a lot of different things while also including what's going on in his life. Now, he's been very, very open about his personal life as far as with the ladies, right? And he said something that was pretty interesting, man. It was like he was talking about women with acne and how that he's favorable to them in those situations. And I was the first time I ever heard that, man. Kevin Gates is an interesting guy, man. Like, he's one of a one. That's definite, right? But dude says some things that are so wild sometimes you don't know if you should laugh or you should be like, yo, is this dude all right? You know what I'm saying? Now, his outfit during the thing was also, or the interview, I should say, was kind of wild too, man. Like, he had on a bow tie, and then he had the feathers in his head, which I don't mind, man. I don't see anything wrong with expressing yourself in fashion in any way that you like. You know what I mean? But he's an interesting dude to look at. Let's actually look at this clip of Kevin Gates either on his way there or his way leaving from the Breakfast Club interview.
I won't tease me, talk about my shirt little, talking about I got my little brother shirt on and shit. But guess what? This that muscle though, you heard me? Yeah, this that in real life.
Now, in that clip, you heard Kevin Gates laughing at the fact that people would be teasing him about his shirt. So obviously, he does these things planned out. I can't tell to this point, is Kevin Gates trolling? Is this all trolling? Where he's like a soundbite machine. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you wanted to get a clip of somebody saying something wild and you interview Kevin Gates, you're going to get that because he's very wild with what he says, man. He has no filter at all. And it seems like the very first thing that comes to his mind, he says it. So let's actually look at another clip of him talking so I can prove this point.
I just want to tell y'all, it's boring. I want to go to Kevin Gates' house. I love you, carry on.
Now, after seeing a clip like that, in all actuality, no matter what Kevin Gates is doing, if he's trolling, if he's being authentic, it seems like he's enjoying life and he's in a better place. Because during the interview, he said that, man, this is his words, not mine, that he was trying to check up out of here on two separate occasions. One being as recent as 2020, man. And he said a leading part to that, or the leading, culprit in that, was social media. He felt like he was on Instagram too much, comparing his life to other people. He was on social media too much, comparing his life to other people's. And it just, it had him in a bad place. And I was like, wow, not many artists are that candid and will reveal something like that about themselves. So I also gained a lot of respect during the interview. Even though he was talking about some stuff that was rather dark, it seemed to come from a positive place. So I don't know how to place Kevin Gates still to this day, man. But I will say this, for anybody who did not see that Breakfast Club interview, go check it out, man. Because the thing he said about ladies with acne, I mean, maybe that's a boost for anybody who has that situation going on, but it was funny to say the least, man. And some of the other things that he touched on in there about, him reading, his reading habits, his faith. It's a lot of good stuff to pull from there, man. Besides some of the usual, bedroom prowess and stuff like that, or who could relate to him and who could communicate with him, man, it makes for a good interview. But with that, man, what do y'all think, man? Do y'all think that Kevin Gates be out here trolling? Or do you really think that he feels the way that he feels about these issues and these things that he brings up, man? Because in the interview, like I said, he talked in detail about some very, very dark times in his life where he felt like, it wasn't even worth going on, it's hard to believe when you think about the height of Kevin Gates' career, how big he's been in the rap game, how he's got the ear of the people pretty much. When he drops, people listen. It's not like he's one of those guys that's already, phased out of the rap game or anything like that, man. Nah, man. He's got a place in the game where a lot of people are looking at him, you know what I'm saying? Or even look up to him, you could say. And he's helping out other people in Louisiana's career, especially on the underground, a lot of rappers out there. So to hear him say that about himself and, that he was in that place, it was interesting, man. It was kind of sad too, man. But I'm glad that they ended on a positive note. And if you check out the interview, you'll see that, not everything that glitters is gold. And definitely, man, he leaves a lot of words about not comparing yourself to people on social media and just living your own existence, Wow, man. Wow stuff, man. But what do y'all think, man? Do y'all really think that Kevin Gates is really this deep of a person now? Because, I mean, he is all over the place sometimes. I will say that. Sometimes he'll talk about, like, some gun-toting almost type stuff, or who he can relate to and stuff like that. And there's definitely going to be clips about one point in the interview where he talked about how his own people are turning on him. And, he makes claims about other type of movements and things like that. It's a hodgepodge of a lot of things, man, when you come to Kevin Gates. But obviously people like it, and he keeps getting asked back for interviews, and they keep making clips out of it, and the circle continues. Now, with that, this has been your boy Big Man. Do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit that notification bell so that way you get a notification every time I drop this hot content, and we out of here. Peace.